Which of those four is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I said it to my boyfriend because he got Tupac killed.
In case you missed it, the Diddy trial just ended, and the news then wrote, former LAPD cop claims Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge then retaliated by having Biggie dealt with, as it was exposed that Diddy hired Keefe D to get Tupac. Then after walking free for the last 20 years, the police finally arrested Keefe D, and he snitched on Diddy. He didn't know he was being recorded during the interrogation when confessing that Diddy was the lead man of the crime.
On all four of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those four is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah.
As during the Diddy trial, he was questioned on his involvement. The news wrote, Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's murder after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing. As Keefe D, the hired hitman of the crime, said that everything was Diddy's wish. He was offered $1 million to do the hit and to team up with anyone he needed to get the job done. This then went viral online. 50 Cent would react at his concert.
I hate when they leave me to talk because I always say the wrong thing. I'm saying, last time they left me, I said something about Puffy. You saw that? You saw that thing? Yeah! I gotta stop doing that kind of shit. I've been talking to a therapist trying to help me with the I'm saying. I said crazy shit. No reason. Oh wait, maybe I said it to my boyfriend because he got Tupac killed.
As with the entire internet going into a frenzy, there would be one particular interview that would then go viral, where it's an awkward Breakfast Club interview where Diddy was called out for putting a hit on Tupac.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
But what's even scarier is when investigating further, the police records show that Diddy did not act alone. In case you missed it, it was shared. The reinvestigation of Tupac's murder is revealing new names and evidence of those involved. One name brought up is Suge Knight. As according to the new police records, it reads, Detective Russell Poole is suspected that Suge Knight arranged Tupac's murder before he can exit the label death row. He then framed the rival Crips to throw off investigators, which then raises the question of who's a famous Crip gang member that Suge Knight would be pinning Tupac's murder on, as the most famous Crip in the entire world is Snoop Dogg. His file is even more interesting when you learn that he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac on the night that he died.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac, I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So
saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
As Snoop mentions that he was supposed to be in the BMW, but after last minute changes, he just didn't go. This was likely due to Snoop, Tupac, and Suge having an altercation just a few days prior.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to, prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife knife and a fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
As with all of this happening within 72 hours of Tupac's murder, it made the police very suspicious. 2 decades ago, Snoop Dogg was heavily tapped into the streets. Some speculate he could have received a tip that Tupac was going to be targeted on that night, so he avoided on getting in the car. But the feds then also found one more interview where Snoop claims that 2 days before Tupac died, he felt like Tupac hated him.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like it. I want to do some music with him. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out.
When you compare all of this to the chilling evidence that was shared in the Diddy trial of how the murder went down, it really answers every question you have. As on September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with the head of his record label named Suge Knight. The two were off to the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match, as after it was over, the two spotted an op in the lobby of the hotel.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
As security would break up the altercation between Tupac, Suge, and the ops, it resulted in Tupac and Suge needing to go back to their hotel to change their clothes, then head off to a club to go party it up for the night. At around 11 p.m., the two began driving to the club, where things would go down right in the middle of the street.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
The aftermath of the incident was a mystery for 2 decades. Nobody knew exactly what happened until the police started investigating concerning interviews by a man named Keefe D on DJ Vlad's show. During one particular interview, Keefe D would detail the moments of finding Tupac and literally pulling up on him.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
Got to the light. We was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
He explained that it happened so fast, all because Tupac was originally starting to reach for his firearm before he passed away.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
started at Tupac and Suge.
As Tupac already knew something was about to go down, but these were very bold claims to make, especially in a murder case that has been cold for the last 2 decades now. So to show proof that Keefe D was telling the truth, he would then release a never-before-seen interrogation with the police on the night of the crime.
Lane starts... you say Suge looks over, he sees you? He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looked at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, And then, Tupac's busy getting evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the line.
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window.
But also during the police investigation, they were able to find Keefe D's reaction to Tupac passing away, which shows his true emotion.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. I hate that happen. Probably to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
With the police having this all on record, when it was released, there was a viral Reddit thread that exposed the holes in the police records, as they were able to find evidence proving that Tupac is still alive, and let me explain. As Suge Knight himself would end up doing an interview, making a very convincing case that he's still alive, exposing that Tupac was allegedly doing fine in the hospital before dying, stating in quote, "When I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can turn from doing well to doing bad."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But what's weird about this is the police records state that Tupac was supposedly in a coma when arriving to the hospital. So how in the world would he and Suge be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? It doesn't seem to add up. However, in a 2008 interview, 10 years apart, Suge Knight said the exact same thing.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Only this time, 2 weeks after Suge did the 2008 interview, he almost lost his life in a nightclub when a man used a firearm in his direction 6 times. However, Suge Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything, as he immediately knew that it was due to him talking about Tupac. But here's where it gets even crazier. An interview from an officer would then be leaked online, exposing that Tupac was an industry plant with a job of stopping the beef between the red and blue street teams.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda they came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
Then with the plan obviously not working, he then suddenly passed away. But this would make sense as to why Snoop didn't go near him in Las Vegas on that night, being a famous Crip gang member. But it gets even crazier when watching the 2010 interview by a rapper named Treach. Treach was interviewed on the topic of Tupac before his concert. Treach and Tupac were very close friends back in the day. They even worked on a few albums together, but here's where it gets interesting. After Treach's interview, the cameraman forgot to stop recording. He placed his camera onto the ground, and in the footage, you can hear the interviewer asking Treach about Tupac, to which Treach responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
Earl. One last question.
Nobody knows. Y'all good?
Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
We good. Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Then only 3 weeks later, a video would be released onto a news website showing a video of Tupac supposedly chilling in a parking lot inside of Cuba.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back. He's trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.